ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another District Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Yeah, I feel like it's been too long since I've seen you, good sir.
It has been too long, ladies and gentlemen. This, of course, is I, of course, I'm your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the Piffle Counter himself, Zealeus.
Indeed, after a couple of weeks of travel and mayhem and travel plans gone awry, we are finally back to bring you the Ultra Confusion stuff.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is the Thursday Night Hangout. It's a live show where we try our best to cover the topics most important to you during the show. If at any point during the show you have any topics, questions, opinions, thoughts, or you just want to see your name pop up in the chat window, all you got to do is put it in the chat, be it on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. And there is Zealeus' name. And we'll try to cover it as best as possible. If we do, unfortunately, run out of time, we will add your topic or question to the very next show. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off. The first thing is, I know it's way overdue, but ladies and gentlemen, my Starfield review is now up. And I cannot say it's glowing. Because the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, it's a game.
So you're one of those memes where, like, on Steam, you'll see somebody with like 3,000 hours played. Mm-hmm. Don't recommend it because the game's terrible.
Well, so here's my logic. Okay, so I put over 120 hours in.
That's a fair amount of hours, sir.
And I think that part of it was this maybe kind of like subconsciously. I was hoping that if I just played a little bit longer, that the moment would happen, but it never did.
So instead of like one more turn,
yeah,
it's
exactly,
just one more baddie to kill or one more quest.
Let me go chart this one more star system, and maybe there'll be something super secret hidden that'll be mind-blowingly amazing.
Okay, I can actually understand that rationale.
Anyway, so the review is up on the website. I'll be throwing it up to all the social media. I'll be throwing a link to all the social media stuff. Also, if you are a patron of Ultra Confusion, you will notice that you are now the brand new owner of a early access playthrough, which has been way too effing long. The game that the playthrough is attached to is a game called Genesis Noir. It is a trippy game, but it is good.
As in, you should be doing like dripping some acid while you play it?
No, I think that I've never done this, so I can't say that this would actually work. But I think that if you were to try to do some kind of helper drug, I believe shrooms would probably be better than LSD.
It sounds like for science.
Yes, because there is a lot of science in this thing. Because they talk about the Big Bang Theory.
I'm just saying.
To jazz.
I think you have a reason to find out and determine what is the accuracy of this.
Anyway, so it's a cool game. I think there's 14 episodes. They're all available in a playlist for those amazing individuals who are patrons for Ultra Confusion.
Nice.
All right, so we are quickly approaching that time of year that we call, wasn't that crazy Alaskan pilot on shrooms? Probably. You're probably right.
I like regular mushrooms cooked in my food.
I'm not a huge mushroom person.
Oh, I love mushrooms.
So. Well, there you go. As you probably know, we are getting very, very close to November, which means that it's very, very close to the 24-hour game-a-thon for Ultra Confusion. I have my first game that I will be playing. Well, actually, I have two games that I will be playing for during Extra Life already queued up. The first one is coming out tomorrow, and it's going to be really hard for me not to just go just dive into the game. I'm going to try to wait.
Patience is a virtue and all that stuff and the built character and, have some integrity.
It's not Battlefield 1 or Crusader.
Sam, it's only 24 hours, not like 24 days.
Look, the first one is a game that I've been waiting 13 years for, and that is Alan Wake 2 gets released tomorrow.
And apparently every review is like, this is the game.
I've heard that the story and the script is like astronomical. So I am ready. I am beyond ready. And the other one is the new Super Mario game, which of course I just blanked out on. It's downloaded on my Switch. I just haven't. Of course, once again, I've not started playing. I want to start those games on the actual day.
Which apparently everyone absolutely loves, the new Nintendo game.
Yes. So, new Mario game and Alan Wake 2. So, super duper super scary, and then Mario. So,
sounds like a good way to balance each other out.
Yes.
When does Super Mario RPG come out?
I'm streaming on my PC. I have I'm streaming on my PC. When I play the Switch games, I have a capture card that I'll be plugging my Switch into. The Super Mario RPG is coming out in November, late November. If it was coming out at the beginning of November, then I would be set for life, and you would probably never see me for about a month.
Isn't that going to be the case in November then?
Shoot, you're right. Yeah. November's going to be a busy month for me.
This has been actually a pretty crazy year of video games, honestly.
Yes. And of course, I keep hearing all the amazing things about Baldur's Gate 3. So at some point, I'm sure I will break down for that. But as of right now, there's too many games that are pushing to the top of my list. And because I chose Starfield over Baldur's Gate 3, Baldur's Gate 3 is just going to have to wait.
I think that's understandable with the games that are coming out and everything. There's just so much.
There's only so much time. Elder Scrolls 6 officially in development.
So you mean like Starfield on Earth?
You mean Starfield, but on a planet where you don't leave the planet, and you run against dragons instead of Crimson Fleet raiders that have no dialogue options whatsoever. Anyways, all right. So let's talk about some of the happenings. I know that there's been a ton, but I'm going to try to keep to some of the more recent news, and then I had a bunch of questions that have been piling up. So, without further ado, let's talk about the first thing, one of our favorite things to keep talking about because it's so exciting and everybody's so excited about it, and it's been the best ever since it came out. Let's talk for a second about Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 has got a new problem. It turns out that there has been a huge influx in bot accounts showing up in competitive lobbies. Zealeus, thoughts?
I mean, that was a problem of Team Fortress 2 forever. And yeah, it's a video game problem. I don't know what else to do. I know on the consoles, Zim, I don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it. XIM will basically use the keyboard and mouse to play on your console is also a huge issue where basically every game is complaining about it. So yeah, Overwatch 2 has issues. Imagine that.
Yeah. I mean, it had such a smooth beginning. Everything that they promised is absolutely added in there. Yeah.
And as someone who put hundreds of hours into Overwatch 1, I have basically zero desire to boot up Overwatch 2 anytime soon.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen. I'm sucked into another Blizzard game of Diablo 4 anyways.
And how is that going for you?
I mean, I like it. I'm playing Season 2 right now, the Vampire one. I'm basically doing each season where I play a different character. So it's not to get bored. So the first one I did a Necromancer, now I'm playing Barbarian. So that's kind of my strategy is basically play a different character. I do like how the way that they do change it up with the different skills it can do based on each season is good. But it's also kind of funny because some of the extra complexity, because for ARPG, Diablo is not complex. As far as skills go, it's pretty simplistic, really. it's like with the seasons is where you get a little bit of added layer of complexity and build variety. So it's kind of a weird thing to me in that regard, I guess, where like the base game is kind of vanilla almost. It really requires the extra season skills augmentations that they add to kind of make it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
But again, that's why ARPGs love doing seasons now, is because that's what keeps the players coming, like season to season to season to season. So one hand is kind of like, on the other hand, I also get it. But you also look at other ARPGs like Path of Exile and Last Epoch, and I would argue their skills, not even including seasons, are far more interesting than what Diablo 4 offers. But Diablo 4 still offers the classic Diablo, smashing things just feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing Diablo's always done well. It's just killing hordes of minions. It just feels right. Like I'm doing the work of God.
I like it.
So, yeah. So I'll continue to play it for a while. I'm sure something else will catch my attention at some point. But at least for now, that's what I got going.
Nice. Real quick, be on the lookout for another review from me for the game Dredge, which was that kind of like Lovecraftian horror fishing game.
You were playing that a while ago, I remember.
Yep. And I beat it, and it was good. And apparently there's a second ending, but once again, there's too many games coming out as of late that I'm not going to go back.
Are you a master fisher now?
I think by the end of the game I was.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All right, so the next bit of news, let's talk a little bit about a game that was on the Nintendo eShop and has been taken off. It is a game called Need for Spirit Drink and Drive Simulator. The game is first-person driving simulator that, unlike some of its contemporaries, trades in the asphalt raceways for the great outdoors. It centers on professional driver who has to deliver alcohol to parties while navigating the harsh roads and battling his own alcoholism. Need for Spirit prides itself on the way it manipulates its camera to simulate drunkenness. And so Nintendo has decided to pull this game. And my thought is that there are definitely some worse games out there.
Grand Theft Auto?
No. Is Grand Theft Auto in the Nintendo store, though?
That's actually a good question. I don't actually know the answer to that.
I do know that there is a very racy kind of like match 3 game, at least it was on the store, that if you did levels, it's the you get like the over sexualized like cutscenes, which was really creepy because that's not what was the title or was in the description of the game.
Normally you think that'd be like the top of the full description of the game.
Yeah, no, it's like page 11.
That's okay.
Anyways, so here's my question for you. I know that there's always going to be racy games on different platforms, and different platforms are going to handle it differently. But wouldn't you think that if a game gets on that platform and is around for a couple months, that there's no, unless it's like stealing assets or something, that what's the point of pulling it? Unless the developer asks for it to be pulled.
In the end, it comes down to, especially like on Nintendo, they're going to be on the more cautious side as far as controversy goes.
Right.
And kind of like I would argue Grand Theft Auto more glorifies all of those type of things than the game. But I could also, there's always that separation of like video games are obviously not real life, but also at the same time emulating real life. Like, think about it, you've stated a number of times there's a number of first-person shooters you won't play because they're too realistic, right?
Right.
And I think that's where this game, where the intention is to basically be a drunk driver, I think that's where the argument can be made that imitates something that
too
is
close to life.
Yeah, too close to life, and a terrible, like, it almost rewards drunk driving like there are no real repercussions. Obviously, the same thing can be said about shooters with guns, but I think that's where this game, probably Nintendo and probably like Mad Mothers Against Drunk Driving and other groups, felt like it crossed that line of realism where that's like the sole intent of the game is to basically a drunk driver. So I'm not sure I agree with it, but I could see where that's where they come down on it went too far. But you also make a good point where a game has been on the store for months. Obviously, Nintendo's in the right, legal right to pull it, but are they ethically in the right to pull a game when it's already been in our for so long? Is also kind of sketchy too, I would say. Right.
So, but yeah, the thing is, at the end of the day, I bet you this game probably gets to be put back on the store. Nintendo's probably just going to make the developer reword the description, would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's the age of also social media where bad publicity can also
any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, but from Nintendo's perspective, that's bad publicity. I think is how they
Yeah.
For the developer of the game, they are fine with the publicity until it got yanked. But for Nintendo, who is very much on the cautious side as far as those kind of things go, whatever.
Real quick, I know that it popped off the screen here, but Sam did say the original GTA for Nintendo was shocking. Prostitutes, drugs. I remember that the early Grand Theft Autos were actually just top-down, and it really was all about just stealing the cars.
Well, shit. I mean, you remember when MTV, like I remember my grandparents specifically requested to have MTV pulled from their cables collection because of Beavis and Butthead.
Yep.
I mean, that was a real thing at the time. And The Simpsons was also causing that because they said, damn it, on the show. They said one other swear word, actual swear word, I think. But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that was, what? Wow, now I feel old. That was 25, 30 years ago. And, the boomers generation, they did not like those shows.
Yep. So, but yeah. So the next one, I'm going to go through all the questions that have been piling up now. Because those were the couple of big news stories, but now let's go to all the questions. Let's have.
You missed a big news story.
Okay, Zealeus, hit me.
Activision Blizzard is now officially part of Microsoft. It went through.
Fine. Yes, it did.
And it also means at the end of the year, Bobby Kotick is no longer going to be a part of the evil conglomerate.
God, that would be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be so nice.
Yeah, so now the great consolidation continues, whereas I'm sure Sony will try to buy some other company in the next year or two.
Yes. Let the mergers continue.
Hooray!
Maybe, I don't know.
I actually really wonder how much money FromSoft has been thrown at them to be taken over. I mean, they haven't obviously, but is it genres are kind of cyclical as far as what is the big thing,
right?
And right now, the FromSoft games, those type of the whole Souls-like genre, I would say is the big genre that every kind of big publisher is trying to emulate. And I imagine the Microsofts and the Sonys have tried backing up the proverbial Brinks truck to them to buy them out.
Yep. Sam is right. Microsoft did buy, they bought ZeniMax, which is the parent company for Bethesda.
Yeah.
So yeah, Microsoft also owns Bethesda.
Yep.
This own everything.
You'll have no choice in video games. There's only going to be one MMO to play, only one platformer to play.
One MMO to rule them all.
Well, in my mind there is, but that's just me.
Okay, so let's go at a couple of the questions that have been dropped, or I guess topics, questions, whatever. The first one is, there are a lot of games out there right now. You've got the games that you could play forever, like Starfield, the 120 plus hour games. And then you have, your little bite-sized games that take, 4 or 5 hours. But then you also have these wonderful games that are basically one-shot attempts. You play it, and then either when you die or when you quit, you have to start from the beginning again. So the question that was asked is, with this type of game, what is the maximum length in your mind that you'd be comfortable with when playing a game where it's basically one shot and then you start from scratch again?
So are we talking like the old school console style, or are we talking like a Rogue type of game?
I think they're talking more of like the old school console style, because Rogue, you're still building off of it. This one, it's more of, I believe they were asking more for like, the more you play it, the better your skills are going to get, because it's rinse and repeat type of thing.
I think at this point in my life, I don't have the patience for like those type of games at all, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like a game like Temple Run aside, where it's like, those platformer type of games, like those, I guess I'm okay with. But if we're talking like, kind of like, I'm thinking of more like the Ninja Turtles type of games, those kind of beat 'em up all games.
Mega Man.
Yeah, I would say I'm not the target audience for those games. Where I mean, in a way, those are kind of like the early, like the grandfather of Souls games, in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where like you have to learn the patterns over time. At least with a Souls game, like you can come from the save point or spawn point, or whatever you want to call it in your game,
right?
Whereas like the arcade, actually, it's really the arcade type of games.
Yeah,
where like unless you have a lot of quarters to bankroll you're starting from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm not alone in this. I think by and large, gamers just don't have the patience to have to start from the very beginning of the game to do that over and over and over. I'm certainly not going to have the patience. I can't even do a freaking Souls game. I don't have the patience for those.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't think I have the patience for it, but at the same time, I think that, when you talk about arcade, there are a lot of like very arcadey games where it's like a top-down shooter, and you just go on wave after wave, and it's all about patterns and trying to figure out the best way to take out all the enemy aliens that are flooding the screen, or the planes or spacecrafts or whatever. And yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't know if I could put like a sweet spot number like of time. I think it would be more for me, because it would be skill based, right? So it would have to be the first time I pick up the game, how long can I last? Am I literally going to get smacked in the face and die immediately? Or am I going to feel like I'm making some progress before that game over screen hits? If it's the second, then I'll probably be more willing to just keep going back to it. But if you basically have to climb up, almost a vertical cliff right off the bat without learning how to climb at all, then F that, I'm never going to touch the game again. So I guess, I don't know, probably an hour to hour and a half for a full playthrough at max.
I think it was for me. That's kind of what the roguelike type of games are like, and like Arturo, for instance, like that back in the day just would have been an arcade game, actually kind of like Gauntlet.
Right.
It's kind of what it is, where once it's over, it's over. But in those kind of Arturo type of phone games, they are the roguelite where you can kind of build up and like enhance your stats and all that stuff.
Right.
And those I can do, or I guess mentally tolerate, because like you're building towards something. Versus in the Gauntlet type of arcade game, you're starting from scratch every single time and having to go through it.
Yeah.
And I just don't, there's just not that market for those anymore. Because even the hard games, like either it's a roguelike game or you have a save point. So
Right.
you're not having to start like, could you imagine starting from the beginning of like Souls every time you die?
Yeah, no.
Like there is no save point.
True. I think that for that type of game, I think in this day and age, you have to have variety. You can't just have that. I mean, I guess you could technically have that one, depending on the game. I don't know. I keep thinking of something to add a little bit of flavor. So a little bit of an RPG element. You have like Gauntlet is a great example because you could select from a couple of different types of characters. So at the bare minimum, if you tried the barbarian and it didn't work out for you, you could go back and try, a different character type, and maybe that's the one that helps you get to where you need to go. With like a game like Mega Man, where if you take out the fun little secret codes that you'd have to memorize or write down so that you could restart your journey where you left off, you could always take a different path. It's not strictly A to B. It's there is a start, there's an end, there's an absolute start, there's an absolute end. But how you get there, you could go through 8 different paths, or you've got to beat 8 bosses in whatever order you want to before you go against Dr. Wily.
That's what we're missing, is another Mega Man game. I feel like there hasn't been one in forever.
There's been quite a few like spin-off Mega Man's games. I don't think there's been like that hardcore like original Mega Man in a while. I think there's some other, I don't want to say it's a collectible card game-esque, but I feel it's a little bit closer to that than it is to the original. I have Mega Man 3 and Mega Man 4 on original Nintendo, and I love the shit out of those games.
The closest I've got to Mega Man lately is just listening to the Proto Man.
Yeah, man. Which there ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm just saying, like, of old franchises that had quite the following, and they weren't just like, a flash in the pan. Mm-hmm. It just got surprised me that there hasn't been another Mega Man.
Yeah.
Like actual Mega Man.
Yeah. Maybe they're waiting for the Mega Man movie.
Is there a Mega Man movie actually coming out?
Not yet. I'm sure it's coming. I mean, we're talking about, the big IPs that have been there forever. There's the rumor of a Zelda, live action Zelda. Of course, we've seen the Super Mario one. Of course, we're now working on number 3 for the Sonic franchise. So why not a Mega Man movie? I mean, shit, they've got some of the other Capcom titles have already had a movie, I think. In Capcom Street Fighter, they've got a couple Street Fighter movies in there.
Yeah, the only one I know of is the real one, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes, that one too.
Yes.
Not the Legend of Chun-Li or whatever that hell that garbage.
No, those don't count.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause real quick to thank the amazing individuals that help Ultra Confusion be the Ultra Confusion that you love and adore, and those, of course, are the friends of the show. These are the people that are patrons of Ultra Confusion and help us in so many ways. So without further ado, let us give a shout-out to all these amazing individuals or companies or groups or whatever you want to call them. First off, we have the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts that challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. The next shout-out we got to give is to the AV master himself, and that, of course, is Noodle Boy Media. Founded in 2015 by Andrew Tran, Noodle Boy Media, previously Whack Kid 47 Media, is your choice for professional photo shoots and panel recordings at conventions. They pride themselves in providing a high level of professionalism, top-notch experiences, and quality services. If you want more information and to view their full list of services, check out facebook.com/noodleboymedia. And I have this really funny feeling that he's actually in Atlanta this weekend because I think AWA is happening.
Oh, he's 100% in Atlanta, according to the New Boy Media Facebook account.
Well, there you go. All right, the next shout out we got to give is to the guy who's amazing and helping getting some of those kinks and pains in your back and neck and gaming hands, and that, of course, is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic's unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore, the company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to herochiropractic.com. The next shout out we got to give is to the music maestro himself, CrossPad Creative. Need a new logo or want to work on a full branding and content strategy? Or maybe you need music or audio for your content. Just like Alter Confusion, CrossPad Creative offers a whole host of solutions to individuals and small businesses. Just email Josh at crosspadcreative@gmail.com and see what he can do for you. And though not an official sponsor, if you are in the Atlanta area, definitely check out Battle and Brew. It is the best gamer bar in Atlanta. It's just outside of 285. If you have the ability, go. Yes, it is not open on Mondays. That's the one flaw, but it's so good on all the other days that, it makes up for it. All right, the final shout out we're going to give to is to the original patron himself, and that, of course, is Agile Axiom. By day, Axe leads both a development team and system administration team working with satellites at NASA's Goddard campus. But while not in meetings and many times during, he is the Agile evangelist Agile Axe, championing the philosophy of Agile and trying to make the world a better place for software developers, testers, system admins, and software projects the world over. Decades of experience in software development and leading Agile teams are brought to bear against evil processes, inefficient work, and bad habits. For more information and also to check out his book, go to agileaxiom.com. I'm sorry, Sam, that the one time that you were in Atlanta, it was on a Monday and Battle and Brew was closed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know that, of course, everyone is now dying to know, how do I become a friend of the show so I could get a shout out? Well, that's an easy question to answer. Ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion survives the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, lovers, haters, demigods, interdimensional beings, gods, demons, aliens, mummies, vampires, swamp creatures, dang it, supporters, and more to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. Currently, we have two tiers. We've got a $1 tier. It's a $1 a month or $12 a year. Not only do you get early access to all the playthroughs, but you also gain the ability to participate in patron-only posts and polls to help shape the future of Alter Confusion. If you're feeling a little bit frisky, you could do the $5 a month. That's $5 a month or $60 a year. Not only do you get everything at the $1 level, but you also gain your name or organization added to the thank you section of every single Thursday night hangout. So if you want to be a patron of Alter Confusion, all you got to do is go to Patreon. That's patreon.com/altered confusion. Now, we hinted about this earlier, and I'm just going to bring it back. Ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion is proud to say that we've been fundraising for Extra Life for 12 straight years. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, game, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Alter Confusion today.
What about tomorrow? Can I search tomorrow?
Certainly. You can search until the end of the year, but know this, November the, let me make sure I get this right here, November the 4th will be 24 hours of Ultra Confusion gaming streaming madness. Uh-oh.
So that's next Saturday night / Sunday morning.
That's going to be interesting. There is going to be a slight break.
Oh.
In that, simply because I am a youth basketball coach, and the first game is that Saturday. So, maybe we'll have someone play during the time that I have to coach, or I'll just add on to the end of it. We'll figure it out.
Isn't that considered gaming for kids? Because think about it, you're gaming for a kid, so really it should actually count.
Yes, but I won't be streaming the game. And it would probably be an invasion of privacy if I actually did that. So,
privacy's dead anyways. Who cares?
Oh, boy. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's get back into the questions. Now, this one is a little bit tricky, and I wish that they had given me a little bit more information, but we're going to try our best to cover it. In your opinion, what do you consider a clone of a game, and when is it considered a ripoff of said game?
When is it considered a clone versus a ripoff?
Yep.
To me, that's kind of the same thing.
I think so. I think technically you can have games that are, I mean, it's just like Soul-like games. So it's kind of still got the same thing, but, you know, they changed the art style or something. I think when it's a like blatantly, you know, step for step, the exact same thing. Because, I mean, technically, if you look at a lot of the platformers out there, well, Metroidvania games out there, technically there are a lot of games that are really close to the source material that you could, you know, argue are clones of specific games, but they have enough variety. I guess to be a ripoff, you literally minimal effort. I mean, absolute minimal effort. All you did was you changed out the graphics, but everything else, all the mechanics, the maps, everything are the same.
Well, to me, the big thing of a ripoff is actually if they reuse the assets.
That too.
Or like, it's just like almost slightly tweak the gameplay, and I'm literally going to copy and paste these icons and using them in my game.
You know, there was I think it was a cell phone game, or I guess a mobile game, a couple years ago that they literally they stole all the art assets, and they, Jesus. Yes, Sam. Call of Duty rips off Battlefield 1942. What they did is they ripped all the art assets, and then they flipped them. So everything was mirror imaged. So, like, technically, the marble texture was different. Or, you know, the way the door, the box looked. You're like, come on. Then there's also those that literally they take the art assets and they try to just change the color or the contrast and claim it as their own.
Well, I remember in the early days of like WoW clones, that's exactly what they did. It's like they would literally take like the skill bar assets and paste them into the game and basically try to recreate WoW. Was definitely a thing in the early days.
How about this? Starfield is a No Man's Sky clone.
I thought it was the other way around, and No Man's Sky just beat Starfield the release date.
Possibly. Or how about this? Starfield is a Star Citizen clone that actually came out.
Oh, can you be cloned if you never actually release your game?
Ah, now that is a question. Can you be a clone of a game that hasn't officially been released? So you beat it to release, but truly it is, you know, step for step, exactly this other game.
See here, Lord of the Rings is a total ripoff of Elder Scrolls Online.
Lord of the Rings Online came out before Elder Scrolls Online.
I was just trying to think of a really terrible example.
Be like EverQuest is a ripoff of RuneScape.
Ooh.
Or if you want to be a total moron, Final Fantasy 14 is a total ripoff of Final Fantasy 11. It's the same name. They just changed the number.
But it's a different game. I'm so confused.
But the name's the same.
Well, yeah, everything basically. Well, I don't know if was there actually a 4X strategy game like Civilization 1 before it came out though, or was that actually the first true 4X strategy game?
That is a very good question. I'm going to look up
because I remember playing Civilization 1. I must have been 13 or 14 at the time, so we're talking 25 plus years ago. I really don't know if there's another four like that. Basically, Civilization became after that.
Okay, well, hold on. No, we can't do that, Charlie. This article, it's a lot about board games because that's really where it came from.
Okay, I could see that.
So, haha, all the 4X strategy games are clone ripoffs of board games.
So they should be paying royalties to all the classic board games. Actually, probably Risk. They should be paying royalties to Risk.
Command and Conquer.
Mm.
Hearts of Iron or Crusader King. Yeah, I mean, look, now we're going down that rabbit hole of basically saying, okay, fine. All RPG games are based off of Dungeons & Dragons. But Dungeons & Dragons is based off of, insert other game here.
But you also look like in real, like for real though, you look at the Blizzard games, and for years, that's actually what they did very well.
Yeah.
You look at like the Warcrafts, you look at Overwatch, you look at World of Warcraft, and that's exactly what they did, is they took other games from that genre and basically distilled it down to perfectness.
Yep.
And that's what they're phenomenal at. So yes, I mean, that's a tried and true strategy is what other games do, pick the best elements in theory, and then make your own version.
Aha. Here we go. It all goes back to chess. You would
I thought it all went back to Pong.
No, tic-tac-toe, man. Yeah. Anyways, here's a fun little factoid for all of you out there. The first game to actually use the term 4X was Master of Orion in 1993. Civilization actually came out in 1991, but Master of Orion was the first to actually use the term 4X strategy.
Well, just it makes sense because it become a popular type of video game.
Yep.
Was Master of Orion made by the same publisher also?
No. Master of Orion was Simtex, where Civilization was Microprose. I think Rose, Zealeus's feline companion, has decided to try to decimate Zealeus's condo.
She's doing her job very well. Yes. She hates, the one thing she doesn't like when I talk, and it's not to her, is she starts getting frisky. Yes. Like a good companion.
Rose is still kicking. Good to hear. Absolutely, Rose is still kicking.
Of course. She was ready to eat my face off the first night when I got back in town. But what good companion isn't?
Exactly. All right. So, so back to the question of what is a clone of a game and when is it a ripoff? I think we've basically, we've covered the bases here. I know we've had this jokingly, we've had this argument several bajillion times over the fact that if you really want to get into the ones and zeros of it all, everything is a clone of something else. There is no original idea.
Where you do have a lot of, I would consider clones of each other.
Yeah.
Are those mobile phone RPGs where you have the army of 5?
Mm-hmm.
or 6. And the, like, basically, I mean, Raid Shadow Legends, I think is what it's called, is like the one that's advertised to hell and back.
Yep.
But like, there's so many of those that are like almost identical to each other, really.
We have all those merge games where it's literally the exact same grid layout, and they just change out the art assets. So this one is fairy tale themed, so it's more, you know, like Alice in Wonderland and Snow White, but this one is more dragon themed, so it's more like wizards and sorcery, and this one is more seaside escape, so it's more like seashells and sandcastles, and just basically you change out the art asset, it's a whole new game.
So you're saying is you have a different type of game for depending on the mood you're in.
Yes. Pinball machines. Who was first? No one knows. Ooh, that is a very good question. There's some amazing pinball machines out there.
I haven't played actually, no. I played a pinball machine at Dragon Con.
Aha! See, Zealeus is
because they had an arcade there. But before that, I didn't play an actual physical pinball machine in forever.
I did it. What was it called? There is a restaurant.
At Homebrew.
No. It's the other one. My parents' basement, I think, that has a bunch of arcade machines. I think it's either my parents' attic or my parents' basement.
I feel like there is like down in like Midtown area that actually has like arcade machines and that stuff. Yeah.
I'm going to Google it.
You must know exactly where to go play pinball.
Yeah, it's called my parents' basement. It is Avondale Estates.
Nice. I have not been there.
It's fun. It's a cool place. My sister took me there one time.
Nice.
And we spent the entire time, because it's a combination of comic book store and tap room.
Ooh, it sounds like a very winning combination.
Absolutely. So instead of like video games with PCs and consoles, this one's more comic books and arcade machines.
It's like another facet to the dorkiness.
To give you a little variety.
I approve.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the next topic. Now, this one was asked while I was actually overseas. And that question... They
made it back with you all the way over the ocean?
This one is, why do some games need to be censored in order to be released in other countries? The quick answer is because every single country has different laws and morals and ethics and requirements and even color palettes that mean different things. And so different versions of different games have to be released. I mean, hell, the game Kingdom Hearts, depending on what country you're playing the game, you'll see that Sora and many of the other characters, the color of their outfits are different because those color combos mean different things. There are certain games that you have to take out like enemy types or creature types.
I think World of Warcraft was skeletons in China.
Yep.
Where it had to be removed because
you could do zombies, but you couldn't do skeletons, right? Was that it?
Yeah. Only one type of the undead's allowed, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of the first-person shooters have a hard time getting into many different countries simply because of the realism. We're talking like, the Battlefields and the Call of Duties, especially the Modern Warfares, where there could be a lot of stuff. Sam said early shooter war games worried how Germans or Japanese would feel shooting their ancestor bots. Nobody cared. True. But also the funny thing is and this still holds true for the most part. There are going to be groups that are going to get up in their feels when it's a you're facing against Germans or Japanese, but there is one country that doesn't give a shit because they're fine being the bad guys, and that is Russia. You can have a shit ton of Russian bad guys, and even Putin's like,
Eh.
yeah. I think also when you do when it's historical, I think that there's a little bit more leeway with that. But like I said, when it's more modern times, that's where you got to really step lightly.
Yep, killed Nazis and Russians.
Mhm.
But that's also where it's especially like you play like MMOs. Almost all of them are. They don't correlate at all with the real world. They're not like a battlefield where you you're actually have like reenacting real human wars. They're all like fantasy based or like some random Norse country where, it might be modern times ish, but you're not using any real countries. It's probably more what you're going to see for that exact reason, because you don't want anybody to potentially be offended or have a country be like, that's our country, unless you're Russian.
Well, and another thing is, and this is, once again, this is the ethics and the religious or country laws that deal with the way that relationships are betrayed in games. There are certain countries that you cannot have same-sex, even like flirtatious scenes, because that's seen as a big no-no. I'm sure that Baldur's Gate and the infamous bear sex scene is not allowed in certain countries.
Or certain households.
And just to be clear about this, it is a druid who turns into a bear during the naughty time, okay? It's not complete bestiality, though.
Or was he always a bear and he turns into a human during the day?
Okay, Zealeus, we're not trying to blow minds tonight, okay? I mean, we took too many days off, and so we've got to ease people back into the awesomeness that we can, cause in their brainwaves.
My mind never stops. I'm sorry, sir.
But yeah, it really the reason why companies do that is because they want to make money. The more they could get their games into the hands of consumers, the better. So there's always going to be this give and take in order to put it into certain countries. Now, that's not to say that there are games out there that there's no way in hell it would ever be released in a country simply because it's just, the subject matter is something that even if you can't just change the color palette or change out the zombies or whatever. And that's just how the world works. Really.
And especially some like those novel games.
The visual novel games?
Yeah, where you get like special relationships and stuff.
Yeah. The romance stuff.
Yeah, like those can't really just be changed anyway.
Yeah. Where it's completely story driven and it's not it's not like a PvP free for all type of thing where if your country is offended by the colors pink, purple, and aquamarine, they just take those three out. Sam Grizzle says, interesting that modern Madden football makes up fake black names for black players and white names for white players. Nobody cares. Just interesting. Seems PC line talking. What I love is the fact that in sports games that tote all of this realism, you always have those like bottom of the roster people that EA will just spit out a random character, and it might have the name, but looks totally something does not look at like them at all. There was I think it was a backup left guard for I want to say I want to say it was like the Dolphins or maybe the Jags. The dude is from Nebraska. He is corn-fed white. I mean, you can't get whiter. And it is a bald African-American in Madden.
Nice.
So, okay, so here's the thing. If you're going for realism and you have actual, people that you're basing this shit off of, like they're living people, get it right. I don't care if it is Mr. Irrelevant from the 2021 or 2022 draft, because you never know. He might be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, he's injured now.
Brock Purdy got injured again?
Yeah, he's in concussion protocol.
Oh, fantastic.
The brain's a precious thing, man.
I know, but I'm just saying. He is, okay, so for those of you out there who don't know what Mr. Irrelevant means, in the NFL draft, the thing that happens every single year where professional football teams from the National Football League, basically they draft players onto their team, there is a distinctive honor given to the individual who is the last pick of the draft, and that pick is called Mr. Irrelevant. And it's funny that Mr. Irrelevant from, I think it's like 2 years ago now, is now is supposed to be the starting quarterback for the 49ers.
And we'll be hearing about that as long as he's playing football.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a good storyline. It's like
the storyline that keeps on giving.
It's that storyline, and then it's the Taylor Swift is yet again at a Kansas City Chiefs game, and look at Travis Kelce score a bunch of touchdowns.
I don't even care about her music. Like I'm totally not a Swiftie, but I still find them adorable. Like, yes. I think it's the greatest thing ever. Honestly.
But hey, it's also, I mean, you should see the jersey sales that have gone straight through the roof because of this beautiful relationship. I just wish that they would stop showing her every other play. It's like there's a game going.
Here's the pop icon right now of the world, man.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm either that or I'm waiting that we learn that like 10 years from now. It was a big, giant social media push. And it was all fake the entire time.
Which it could be. Who knows? Swiftie is shifty. Swiftie is shifty.
Although apparently his family loves her.
Oh, yeah. Though I would keep Mahomes' brother way the F away from her. That dude is scary as shit. Anyways, now we're going down. Like
Notice he was not at all in the quarterback show. I don't know if you watched it.
No.
On Netflix?
No, I need to.
It's really good. Understandably, yeah, it did not touch on him at all. Which, for as much as it talks about the family in the show, in general, yeah.
You knew.
Mm-hmm. Although she probably has the kind of protection where, like, if you did something, he would be broken.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have been watching any commercials as of late, but I saw a trailer for a movie the other day, and maybe I just totally blanked on this, but apparently there is a Five Nights at Freddy's movie that's about to come out.
I have no idea what's coming out in the theaters, and I don't really watch commercials because I skip them. So
some of us can't skip the commercials, okay? Because we don't have the premiere package, Zealeus.
I don't tell you. I can't watch TV and watch commercials. I've become spoiled.
Okay, but Five Nights at Freddy's, which is basically like if you took a Chuck E. Cheese and all the animatronic animals basically become murder machines at closing time. That's Five Nights at Freddy's.
So is it a comedy or a horror movie?
Both.
Okay, fair enough. So kind of like Zombieland.
I think it's more like...
I mean, obviously not zombies. I get that. But because Zombieland's kind of like a horror / zombie / comedy.
I don't know if you were. I mean, it's probably got that like over the top kind of like haha cuteness thing. I don't know. I wouldn't take it Zombieland comedy.
Okay. Fair
I'd say
enough.
it's more like I don't like.
So you're saying is Bill Murray's not in it?
No, no, no. It's
Okay.
more like Saw and a Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, okay. Now I'm more confused than before.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of spooky stuff, Sam says he's been watching a lot of film noir movies. Very nice. The Silver Screen.
I don't think I've ever really got into film noir.
There is, for those who are looking for, because we are almost Halloween. It's almost upon us, ladies and gentlemen. It is literally 5 days away.
When is Halloween?
What? Tuesday.
I don't even know. I don't even know when Halloween is this year.
Tuesday.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So Tuesday is going to be Halloween. So if you're interested in a TV show, if you have Disney Plus, let me just preface that. If you have Disney Plus, you have to watch the Goosebumps show. It is really good. Like, I thought it was going to be kind of like the old school. Now I'm going to date myself here, but once upon a time, ladies and gentlemen, when you had to watch TV on a cable box and commercials were not skippable. The only way you skip commercials, you left the room and then had to sprint back in when you heard the show come back.
Yep.
There was a series called Goosebumps, and it was every single episode was another short story. This one is not. It's just one long story. I believe we're either in episode 7 or 8, but it is good. And it's definitely not for kids, because if my son were to watch that, he would not sleep for weeks.
I didn't even know about the show back in the day. I just read the books.
Oh, yeah. I do love the fact that R.L. Stine, the writer of Goosebumps, definitely has a sense of humor. And there's a meme that comes out once a year that basically states R.L. Stine is yet again excited and proud to accept the annual R.L. Stine Writer Award.
Nice.
But yeah, Goosebumps is great. I highly recommend it. But yeah.
Goosebumps and Wayside Stories.
Oh man, there you go. There's some memories. But ladies and gentlemen, I do not have any other topics. I ran through them all, but if you have any questions or thoughts, now is your time.
Are you going to start playing Alan Wake tomorrow? Or are you going to actually be able to resist the overwhelming temptation and urge?
I am going to try to keep Alan Wake on the shelf until the Gameathon. But that being said, I know that there's a very good chance that if I accidentally hit start, then I'm not going to be able to stop myself. So,
oh dear, you already have it purchased.
No, I do not, and that's part of the reason is if I
put a hold on like all of your credit cards, all of your bank accounts, you're not allowed to do anything.
No, because I would forget one way. I would forget to block me one way, and that's how I'd get the game, and I'd start playing it.
Back in the day, I remember actually I had a video game during finals week. I actually make my friend take the disc.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, you're not allowed to give me this disc until finals are over. Because I knew if I had that game, it's the only thing I would do.
Super Mario Brothers Wonder is the new game that's out right now.
There you go.
It just clicked. Just clicked. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you have Netflix and you have not watched any of the One Piece live action, I highly recommend it. My sons and I watched another episode. I know it's been out for a while and everyone should probably have already watched all of it, but when you have kids who every single time they want to watch something, it's a different show, it's kind of hard to pull them back in to keep going on a specific series. So, but I highly recommend it.
I understand that. That's how I watch TV nowadays. It's kind of terrible.
Wait a minute. What is this?
Uh-oh. Did you find something new and exciting?
Hold on. It says that. Oh, okay, got it. Never mind. Wait. According to the Hollywood Reporter, a live-action TV series for Disney Plus surrounding the Gargoyles storyline is actually being written and produced?
Yeah, I saw that like a week ago.
Live action?
Yep.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I always thought that was a really great series too. And it was sad that it got cut short.
It was a good yes. Gargoyles was definitely a quality cartoon of the day.
Gargoyles, and then there was also another series out there that not a lot of people watched, but or I guess didn't really know about, and that was Pirates of Dark Water was another great one. And
I don't think I liked
that. You never got to the end, and it's one of those that they're trying to search for these artifacts, okay, and not to be able to finish and find out what happens when they have all the artifacts. You're just like, oh no, you can't do this to me.
Nice.
Yes. Pain. That's what we like to give you. Pain. Lots of pain. Ha 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 ha. Pain.
Don't hurt me, man.
Mm-hmm. But anyways. All right. So let's see here. I'm trying to think if there was anything else on any other announcements I have to give. I don't think so. I will keep everyone updated to exactly how I'm going to do my Extra Life game-a-thon, since it's going to be, there's a little monkey wrench of the fact that I will probably have my first youth league basketball game that I'll be coaching. But other than that, expect a lot of Alan Wake 2 and, of course, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and probably a third game, which might end up being Legends of Runeterra, because I've been playing a shit ton of that outside of when I was not playing Dredge or Starfield. So we'll see.
Nice.
So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure getting me to come our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
And remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.